You know, of course, this is going to sound like horse shit, and maybe it is complete horse shit. But like, I feel like I do it in a way that is like
it's acceptable.
I almost want to explain the rules. We should have like
maybe that's what we need to get into.
Like
this is a genius idea. There needs to be etiquette.
The real
driving and texting etiquette.
Now the first
that
rule
you have to follow.
You should never ever use your cell phone while driving. But if you're going to, and we know we all are going to, if you're going to do something so stupid as that, there should be some etiquette.
Buckle up. Hands and arms inside the vehicles at all times. Welcome to Mind, Music, and Spirit. Here we go again. We welcome you. Thanks for watching. Click the thumbs up, subscribe. You already know what time it is. Today we're talking about traffic. And we all know traffic sucks. But one of the main things about traffic I want to talk about is how cell phones, in my opinion, it's a hypothesis that I've come up with, and I've looked at some online studies, and what am I doing? I am getting right into it, but I didn't even introduce you to my boy Steve here, one of my oldest friends, Steven Baum, another creator in the creative universe here. So we'll get more into him, and we're going to talk about, he has his own magazine, Tape Leak Magazine, which is all over my desk all the time. If you ever notice, he puts it out himself, and it's awesome. So if you ever get a chance, check it out, Tape Leak.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do this. Traffic. Cool, man. It's tape leak and traffic. Anyways, my hypothesis was that I think I live in South Florida, so I've seen traffic my whole life, and I know that there's inflation, so they're going to say, oh, it's inflation that's causing traffic to be worse. Yes, but also I believe that it has to be largely contributed to cell phones, because people are constantly sitting around on their ass in their car looking at their cell phones, I see it all the time. And even when I was driving to his house earlier today, I was at the red light right before I get to his house, and there's the turn lane, and the guy in the turn lane is sitting there stopped, and everybody's behind him. The light's green, and he doesn't go, or two cars went, and then he's just sitting there, and then people start honking. He finally goes. About 4 cars made it through the light, and then it turned red.
And it could probably be like everybody behind them, maybe they're not on their cell phone. I mean, statistically, they probably are, but maybe they're not even on their cell phone. They're all attentive drivers with some place to be, but because this asshole up front is on his cell phone, just kind of like no consideration for the people behind him, not paying attention to shit. Yeah, now only, 4 people made the light. It seems like just a, bullshit thing, to complain about, but I get fucking furious when I witness
I hate it. And also, if you're probably one of the thing is like there's when you're in the front, you have like this advantage to where you're like, I'm going to make the light no matter what. So I'm just going to sit here and be a dick and look at my cell phone. Yeah. And even if I catch it at the last second.
Of being the first guy in the front.
I'm the line leader.
I'm a very attentive driver. I'm like super considerate. I mean, not just attentive. I'm a considerate driver. I consider the people behind me. Like, I want to hurry up and get through, not just because I'm in a rush.
Exactly.
But because I want to make sure, at least to the best that to my ability, I'm going to consider the other people around me or behind me.
You hear that? We want you to be better drivers.
Get off your cell phones. Unfortunately, the cell phones.
We all got to get off the
thing.
cell phones. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's an epidemic, and we looked at some stuff with studies, and the leading cause of car accidents in the last 2 decades. Yeah. Over the span of 20 years. Is cell phones.
Yep.
The leading cause of accidents.
Distracted
that
drivers.
Alone should tell you that that's insane. But I've noticed when I drive around, everywhere I go, when I see somebody doing something retarded when they're driving around, and I'm like, what is that guy doing? What the hell was that all about? And I drive by him, you get right next to him, and I look over, and it's always
9 times out of 10.
They're just looking straight down at their cell phone, completely oblivious to what's around them. They're going to kill somebody driving around with multiple tons of steel.
Yeah.
just not even looking at
glancing at your fucking phone, or even maybe not even glancing at it. They're straight up looking at it, having full conversations, typing out sentences before they hit send.
That's the crazy part is you hear the people talking about 5 seconds. We were looking at saying 5 seconds. I'm like, 5 seconds?
That's an enormous amount of time to take your eyes off the road for anything. They were saying, this article we were looking at, the statistic, like when you're doing 55 miles per hour on the highway or whatever, and you take your eyes off the road for up to 5 seconds, you end up driving the length of a football field in that short amount of time, in that 5 seconds. And that's a crazy amount of time to be not looking where you're going, especially at that speed. But like even half that, let's say you take your eyes off the road for 2.5 seconds, which a lot of people do for a text or whatever. That's still a fucking, that's still half the length of a football field or however many feet that is. That's an insane amount of time or length to be driving.
It's insane. And I see it all the time.
Without even looking where you're going.
And I've totally forgot to record the screen capture that I usually do. But, what can you do sometimes, So I'm basically sitting in traffic on my cell phone right now by not doing that. So let's go ahead and let's get that going. Let's get that going here. You guys are going to see when I get this going. You're going to be part of it. But anyways, it's an epidemic, man. It's really, and it's getting bad. Like how much it's going to get worse before it gets better, I would think. At this rate, it's getting really bad with the amount of people that I see. I mean, every time I drive, I feel like I notice more and more people on their phones. And I did seen this one study where the guy said it's basically the equivalent. All these people being on their cell phones while they're driving is basically the equivalent of being like 80 years old, between 70 and 80 years old.
Oh, right.
And you got to understand, I remember when I used to drive before the cell phones were all over the place, I didn't, when you would see something stupid happening and somebody driving like an idiot, usually you'd pull up beside him and it'd be like a 118-year-old man.
It'd be an old person.
Yeah, and he's driving through and you're like, oh. And you forgive him instantly. You're like, that guy is literally from the,
But now everybody's
a whole different area of life.
Everyone's an old man now. Every driver.
That guy built the Egyptian pyramids.
Right.
He's seen The Last Supper.
And
he still drives cars.
We'll cut him a break.
Yeah, we'll cut him a break. But now it's like I see that kind of stuff happen, and it's normal people, but they're looking at their phones.
It's, 19-year-old girls or like 30, 40, middle-aged woman. But yeah, she's driving like a goddamn grandma.
You see a girl doing her makeup in the rearview mirror. Mm-hmm. Now she's holding her cell phone, doing her makeup and talking on the...
Yeah, now she's applying filters to her app to make her look younger while driving, which is it's not the right move.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy, some of the statistics that are out there.
Now, I got to be honest though, like I will say this, I would be lying. I'd be lying if I'd said that I don't ever look at my phone while I'm driving, or even like fuck with something like a brief, I don't know, and of course this is going to sound like horse shit, and maybe it is complete horse shit. But like I feel like I do it in a way that is like
it's acceptable,
a safe way to do it.
I'm doing it safe.
I almost want to explain the rules. We should have like
maybe that's what we need to get into. We need to get into the rules of what we're doing right now. Like this is a whole.
You should not
this
ever.
This is a genius idea. We need to do this right now. There needs to be etiquette.
The real
driving and texting etiquette.
Now the first
that
rule
you have to follow.
You should never ever use your cell phone while driving. But if you're going to, and we know we all are going to, everybody already does it. If you're going to do something so stupid as that, there should be some etiquette. We should at least have
There's got to be some kind of rules that these kids now can apply to some kind of way. This is genius. We can make a movement right now.
Okay. Now, obviously, the first thing would be wait for a red light, obviously. Wait for your time to, stop. And then, okay, you got to send out a text real quick. Do I turn left or right? Wait till you get to that red light.
The red light is the spots. That's what I've always said. But now you also can't just be one of those people who literally looks down at your cell phone to where you can't see what the hell is going on.
Hold it to where...
You have to see in your peripherals, people.
Yes.
Hold the phone peripherals.
And use your thumb to type while you still can see in your peripheral
the car in front of you. You got to have the peripherals. Now, let's not lose the point of the etiquette, but this brings me to a whole new point of the red lights. Remember how I was talking about how much time we spend at red lights? We actually talked about this earlier, about how much time do we spend as people who live in a major, metropolis area at red lights with our life. I mean, if you counted it all up, you live a whole lifetime in a major big city, and every day you drive to work and you're always driving around waiting at red lights. If you counted all that time up, how much time do we actually accumulate spending within our life at red lights? Yeah. And now we have, on top of this time we already have to spend at red lights, we have some douchebag sitting on his phone making us have to spend even longer. Yeah. So that has a whole deep meaning to it.
It's adding.
You gotta look at the lights, man. Like, you can't just sit there and waste your life away sitting sitting at a red light, not even
no.
paying attention on your phone. If you want to do that, get to where the hell you're going. Then you can sit around and pay attention to your phone.
That's a good point. Because, yeah, like I was saying, as one of the main rules of etiquette should be waiting for a red light. But then you're that asshole that we were just talking about who's fucking like, so, yeah, like you said, hold your phone up somewhere to where you could see the light in your peripheral. So when it turns green, you're ready to go. And you're not that asshole who's just like texting away while the light's green and holding everybody up. So yeah, I don't want to contradict ourselves, and I don't want to be the exact asshole we're complaining about.
What I'm saying is, you really just want to pay attention to that light. That's the biggest. That's the biggest part. Is pay attention
more than
to
your
the
text.
Light. More than your text message.
If you have to send a quick text, send it out. Try to get it out before the light changes, obviously, and then. But pay attention.
Keep it in your peripherals. What I do is, if I do that, I'll hold it up. The phone up, and I look, just keep an eye on it. And it also depends.
To where you can see when the light changes.
There's common sense too.
It'll be in your periphery.
If you just caught the red light, like if you're approaching the light and boom, it turns red on you. You got more time.
Yeah.
To get, and then you can see in your peripherals the cars start moving and the turning lane next.
Or
to
you could do this, like if you're sending a long text and you're at a light, every word, look up. Type one word. Look up.
Yeah.
Type another word. Look up, and then
pay attention to that
way.
light,
Yeah.
man.
So you're
Stop
not
messing it up.
So you're not the asshole that's just
fucking it up for
texting
everybody.
away.
You're like that guy. You're like Gomer Pyle.
You're the worst.
You're Gomer Pyle. You're the douchebag who got everybody in trouble because you wanted to eat donuts, which we ate terrible donuts earlier today at a food truck.
I was very disappointed.
It was terrible donuts at a food truck. If my advice, if you ever go to a food truck and they have donuts, you have to ask them
if they're freshly made in the truck.
Are they fresh made donuts? You guys
like
making
straight
these
out the
donuts?
fryer donuts? This is what I was expecting, and I was
Don't get fooled. We've been fooled. You don't want to go there.
Now, if like an employee brought those,
that guy
into
texts
work,
and drives too.
I would be happy with those donuts. But I got my hopes up so much that they were like going to be out of this world stellar.
It was a big
donuts.
letdown from all the.
Yeah, it was a huge letdown.
It was a lot of hype.
After
I was feeling good. I think we. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that whole Tower Shop experience wasn't good. We didn't get the headset that you wanted. Your license plate almost fell off, and then we got shitty donuts.
Got shitty donuts, man. Yeah. But on top of that, now we're with you guys, so talking about traffic. So let's keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
So now we're gonna get into this etiquette thing. We need. So what's next? All right. So you just basically that's what it is. Is don't be driving and hauling ass looking at your phone for anything.
A certain
regardless
speed,
of texting or anything. Don't be swiping or looking at Instagram or anything else that you're doing. Happen to be doing on whatever social media platform you're using at that time.
Yeah.
You just pay attention to the road and what the hell you're doing.
And then
live in the moment a little bit instead of living on your cell phone as well. You should live in the moment. Enjoy your surroundings. Pay attention to what's happening. You could kill somebody or yourself.
Sure. But with the driving and text, or with the driving and cell phone thing, we do also need to talk about GPS because it's acceptable and everybody at times needs to use GPS. But, there's obviously like safe way. You should kind of like set it all up before you even start to drive, and then you set it down.
Yeah, because people will start driving, and then as they're driving, they're trying to look up somewhere they're going.
Yeah.
Just sit in the damn parking spot for a few minutes and figure out what you're going to do.
And then have it to where it's like, if it's Waze or if it's Google or whatever it is, they both have the voice, they tells you turn left here, get off at this exit, and that's obvious. That's a given. But, every now and then you might need to kind of like pick it up to kind of like look at the map or whatever it is. Even with the voice commands, you still might need to kind of like glance at it every now and then. So, like, what do you do then? Like, I guess the reasonable thing, most people would say just pull over and look at it. I guess that's the smart thing to do.
Which, that sucks, but
yeah, you got maybe.
Well, it could even be more dangerous sometimes if you're hauling ass on the highway and there's a bunch of cars you don't want to pull over.
You don't want to be doing like
at the same time. You don't if you miss your freaking exit and you have to turn around.
Yeah.
It's better to do that than the cause, making one stupid decision. Even if you don't get killed, you don't kill nobody. It sucks to ruin your car.
Of course.
And go through all that shit and spend a whole day dealing with that.
Best case scenario.
That's best case scenario.
You fuck up your car.
It still sucks really bad to get into an accident.
And nobody died.
And have to deal with the crap that you got to deal with.
I don't think I've ever looked at my cell phone going over 70 or,
when you're hauling ass, you don't.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane to even think about.
Some people do. I see it on the highway on 95. I spend a ton of time on the highway.
You're flirting with death.
People do it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's like a lot of times you'll see, we were talking about this earlier when we were driving, you'll see people, when you see that slow drift.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
slowly drift to the side, and then
you
you
know
see them
somebody's
correct,
texting.
and then you see them slowly drift,
and then they'll correct.
So you're thinking it's like they're either drunk or they're fucking texting.
Yeah,
Most likely, I'd
I
say.
say most likely
at
it's
this point in
texting.
our life, it's most likely texting now.
Texting. There are those drunk assholes.
And you
but,
are
like,
drunk. You're almost you're like a drunk driver.
It's
if
like-
you when you're driving around
Right.
texting, if it causes you to drive like that, what would you equivalate that to?
Yeah.
I mean, in science, you would say, okay, this causes that type of driving, and this causes that type of driving. A cell phone almost causes the same effects.
I bet
as
that'd
alcohol
be
when
interesting
you're
to
driving.
compare the two. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's been done, but like there used to be all these stats for like driving drunk with like
Obviously, drunk is worse.
it impairs
too.
your reaction
'Cause then you
time
might
by
be
this
drunk
amount.
and on your cell phone.
Oh god,
Hey, come on Instagram live right now.
I'm sure
I'm fucking tipping,
there's
bro.
plenty of those people too. Oh yeah, live fucking live. Whatever, recording while you're fucking driving. I've seen it. I've seen the videos of people.
People do it.
Yeah.
It's cool now.
And I don't know.
I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a lot of videos from people who are just like, I'm not talking about edgy teenagers trying to make fucked up content. I'm talking about just like moms and fucking, just like these boomers, these like square boomers and moms and dads and whoever recording like, simple ass videos, but they're kind of like, they're driving while they're doing it. You see them, they'll post it. It'll get, thousands of views or whatever. And it's them driving while they're recording the video. And you have to think, that's not safe. That's not completely safe either. So, yeah, it's weird. It's weird for, is that any better than texting and driving is my question, I guess.
I mean, that's insane.
I guess it can
Think
be.
about it. I mean, there is a lot of people doing that, recording themselves, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. You got people doing all kinds of dumb shit while they're driving around, but I think a lot of it has to do with cell phones.
Yeah.
The cell phone, it's like an epidemic now. The cell phone epidemic is getting to.
It's changed.
And I mean,
a
we
lot,
grew
yeah.
up in a different time, I mean, it's funny to think. I mean, I remember when I was young, I never thought there would be, cell phones and all that crap, but all the insane technology there is now.
GPS still
Even
blows my
GPS.
mind. Yeah, just the fact that like my phone knows what route is going to have a lot of traffic at what time and how it's going to take me 15 minutes if I take the turnpike, but it'll take me 25 minutes if I take I-95.
Because there's so many other cars
The fact that my
that
phone
have
knows
that GPS
that,
that
right?
it's able to triangulate who's moving
Yep.
slow,
and it's using
who's-
like
yeah,
it
it's
uses
crazy
like
technology.
traffic reports from the news combined with like data from other users combined with like what you said, like triangulating the data from all these other users, and with all of that plus the satellites monitoring whatever.
And you would think that they'd be
They're able to
to
fucking-
use that technology to make
Still blows my
traffic
mind.
better,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
but somehow it still makes it worse.
Yeah, right. There's got to be some
Yeah,
sort of
so
like.
what the hell's the loophole here?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that there was a check this out. There was a study called Phantom Traffic Jams. This is another.
Phantom traffic jams.
Did I mess that
That
up?
sounds cool.
And this is yep, Phantom Traffic Jam. This is a real thing, man.
What is this?
To where if you put a bunch of these people are just dumb, I guess is what it is. I think if you put a bunch of smart people in these cars, it wouldn't happen. But when you put a bunch of dumbasses, somebody starts tailgating somebody.
What?
That's another whole thing.
What is this? Like
You got
an
the
experiment?
tailgaters.
Like a social
Yeah,
experiment?
It's a social experiment where they put a bunch of dummies, normal people. This guy's an idiot. The guy in the white car here is a jackass. I just seen him fall way back. He might have a cell phone.
And they're supposed to like.
And look,
the
everybody's getting
objective-
jammed up.
the
Look,
object is
there's
that there's-
traffic jams. There's no reason why. Look, they're stopping.
Ah,
There's full stops going on.
I see. And
There's
ideally,
no lights.
the object is that you're supposed to stay a certain
And
distance behind and never stop.
And a big
moving.
reason, I see this all the time on traffic too, to where people they always want to ride everybody's ass. You got to give,
Yeah.
it's actually supposed to be
A car length.
a car
or
length per 10 miles an hour.
Per 10 miles an hour.
that you're
yeah.
going.
I always leave a decent. I don't know if it's like per 10 miles an hour, but like I'm really good at leaving a certain amount of length for my own safety, and also like if I need to change lanes real quick, I don't want to be right on somebody's ass or.
Yeah, but they've done studies where every time they put, I mean, like I said, if there was a bunch of people who knew how to drive, should have grabbed water when I stood up. I don't think that would have happened. I need water, ladies and gentlemen.
you grab me a beer from the freezer or the fridge, wherever?
All right, so
We were both unprepared. You know, he forgot water. I forgot my beer. Next time, bring both. But that's weird. I never heard of a phantom traffic jam. It does show how fucking retarded people can be. You didn't get my beer?
Oh, let's wrap it up.
Oh yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Well, anyways, we talked about traffic.
Yep.
Wanted to keep it short and sweet. I don't know, it was a little long, but we got into some other things. But
Yeah, I was happy to kind of join in and join
I don't
in
know
with
what
you
happened
on
here.
this
My
shit.
throat hurts all of a sudden from talking too much, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's time to wrap it up. then.
Time to wrap it up. But anyways, I hope
Yep.
you guys enjoyed the episode.
Peace.
Tell us what you think, because we'd like to hear what you guys think. Maybe your experiences with traffic and the kind of dumb shit you've seen people do on their cell phones. And that's what it's all about. It's connecting with you guys and hearing what everybody else has to think about these topics, because it's not just about us. It's just my hypothesis, and I think there should be a new study done towards some of this stuff to find out more information on how dumb people really are with their cell phones.
Yeah.
And I was even thinking about doing my own little short study and trying to figure out what I could about that. Driving around and maybe counting how many people are actually visibly sitting on their cell phones
Collect
while they're
our own
driving
data
by.
on how many people are actually
Kind of
using
do
cell
our
phones.
own little thing. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe
Sit
we
at
won't.
an intersection and do it.
It'd be interesting.
Maybe
content.
we won't, but like either way, I do like the idea that we came up with an idea of like
The etiquette.
text driving etiquette, and then also the idea of like comparing like the negative stats with drunk driving against the negative stats with texting and driving, and
Exactly. It's got to be pretty close.
Is texting
Well, I mean,
even
they
worse?
said more
maybe,
collisions
you know?
have been caused by tech. So I guess it would
I
be
don't doubt
the pound for pound champion would be DUI, because it's not as many, but it's probably more fatal when
Really?
it happens,
Oh,
because
okay.
people
Yeah,
when
of
you're
course,
drunk
yeah.
is driving more crazy and shit.
Yeah,
But
texting. You're not
as far
necessarily
as just the most dominant would be the cell phones.
sure.
They crush.
Because a lot more people are driving. Everybody has cell phones. Not everybody's hammered at any hour of the day. So it makes sense.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Like I said, Mind, Music, and Spirit. Thank you for
Peace.
watching. We appreciate it. Thumb us up, subscribe, and we wish you well. Peace out, y'all. Laters.
Peace.